Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we're looking at Marvel Comics Film Adaptation Facsimile Edition #1. So cool. Check out this gorgeous Howard Chaykin cover. Cannot wait to share it with you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. I am so excited about this issue. It is taking me straight back to my childhood. Star Wars was such an important part of my childhood, and I definitely remember my brother having the treasury size Star Wars, and not really, like, I'm sure I looked at it or read it, but I probably don't really remember or know what it was about. My thing with Star Wars comics, I've never really cared about them. Like, I've always had like a separation of the movies from the comics, and I thought there was no way that, the comics could be as good as the movie. I kind of feel that way about Star Trek, even though I have read a couple of Star Trek comics here and there. So I definitely keep my genres separate like that. However, it's so good, and I can't believe I finally am able to read it and share it with you, and it's so amazing. I didn't realize how good it was, how iconic it is, and how legendary. I hope that they do. Apparently, it was a 6-issue initial adaptation of the movie. They didn't want to rush it, so they spread it out over 6 issues. The first issue came out right before the movie did, and then I don't know when the Treasury happened, the big one. It must have been a collection of all of it. I hope they are doing all 6 issues. I hope they're doing the Treasury. That would be so amazing to have that. This Howard Chaykin art is gorgeous. I love the corner box for Marvel. This is historic in so many ways because, it's the first Star Wars comic. It's Marvel licensing Star Wars, even though they were approached by Lucas, and Roy Thomas was apparently handpicked. And he was so good. Oh my God. Like, I just really enjoyed the hell out of, like, this whole script. At first I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of words. And then I was like, well, maybe they're worth reading. And Stanley presents Roy Thomas, scripter, editor, Howard Chaykin, illustrator, Jim Novak, letterer, Marie Severin, colorist. Beautiful colors here. So good. I love this adaptation. It is so amazing. We have like a rougher, less polished Howard Chaykin on art chores here. Apparently, Roy Thomas handpicked him from his prior work at DC and other comics, doing a lot of science fiction. And boy, he was the right choice. It is so good. I love the storytelling. He would go on to refine his style and have a very distinct style that was. You see the groundwork for it here, but it's definitely, what you would see in American Flag and like Black Kiss is more my Howard Chaykin, but I love seeing this so much. It is so good. He's inking himself in this issue, and apparently Steve Leialoha comes on board next issue, and that makes me even want another facsimile of it so much because I love him as a finisher. So it's interesting with comic adaptations because often they just have, I don't know, very limited, access to the film. A lot of times they haven't seen the film. They've only seen production notes or scripts, or I don't know what they've seen. I don't know what Howard Chaykin or Roy Thomas have seen at this point. It follows the script pretty much, to the T. I love the way Princess Leia looks. I love the way everybody looks, really. It is so fun. I love the old ads. These facsimiles are amazing. It is a little bit slicker paper. I know that bothers some people, but I'm totally fine with it because the printing is more important to me, just like the crispness of the art, and being able to see it versus, subpar printing back in the day is the real treat for me. I love this depiction of Darth Vader. I've always loved the design of Darth Vader. Like, I don't know what that says about me as a little kid, but definitely, was rooting for the bad guy in a way. But I love how his eyes here almost look like TV screens. And when I say TV screens, I mean like old-fashioned, like wooden box screens. There you have to walk across the room and change the channel TV. And I love it so much. The stormtroopers look cool. Roy Thomas did such a great job of capturing like the essence of these characters. The relationship between C-3PO and R2-D2 is perfect. I love it so much. Um, these old muscle ads are so funny, right? Um, you know, there are glaring differences. Obviously, the aesthetic is um, pretty on point. I mean, it's such a great adaptation. Was this character? I don't really remember him that greatly. He seems like such like I would have trimmed the fat on this character. Maybe he's important. I don't know. Whatever. But this is so good and engaging, and I just really got lost in the story. And I thought, actually, this made me like, because I've never been a huge fan of comic adaptations of movies anyway. I feel like this famously, or maybe not so famously, Jim Shooter did tons of movie adaptations for the money. And, sometimes they weren't the most desired, but I feel like a lot went into the craft of this. Like, I don't know, nobody knew like the phenomena Star Wars was going to be, but I feel like, Howard Chaykin apparently saw like what it was about and saw the production illustrations, which were apparently beautiful paintings, and, was like, when do we start? And, it's so weird. Like, but I thought it was so genius, like, in a way, because the first issue comes out right before the movie, so over the next 6 months they're doing the adaptation and probably cashing in on it, because Star Wars was such a phenomenon. Like, now I feel like movies just like creep in and out of the theater so quick, and I imagine Star Wars would have been there for several months, if not like the entire year, just like cashing in. And not only that, but word of mouth, and before internet, and it took time for like everyone to see it. Everyone didn't see it instantly like they do now. And that was like kind of a cultural difference and very cool. I love the landscapes that Chaykin is doing here. As I mentioned, like, he's a little rawer than he would become, but the foundation is here and solid, and everything you have for great storytelling. The imposing, it was so funny. I love it. It's Grand Moff Tarkin and Darth Vader, and it's like, you just know that that's an oh shit moment anytime those two walk into the room, right? I love also the, this isn't photorealistic, like, depictions. Like, honestly, like, some of the shots of Leia are so far away that it's not necessarily looking like Carrie Fisher. And who knew if they had the rights to their likenesses at all anyway. But I think he did a great job of capturing, like, especially like Mark Hamill here. Looks like Mark Hamill to me, and I really love it. I love Darth Vader being so menacing. This is a really fun comic. Like, I think that even if the Star Wars movie didn't exist and this just somehow, unfortunately, only became a comic book, it would be still cool as hell and just like such a great comic book. I love it so much. This Jawa stands out to me so much, like the image of this Jawa. I don't know, it's just like such a great shot there. I love the aesthetic and the design of Star Wars is so cool and just like changed everyone's lives. Here's a history of like how it happened, what was going on, and just very exciting. Stanley was like, I guess Roy Thomas was approached, and they were like, we want Marvel to do the adaptation of, Star Wars, and we want you to write it, Roy Thomas. And he took it to Stan, and Stan was like, Excelsior, may the force be with you, or whatever he does. I don't know, my Stanley needs a little work, but Slim Jims. I still love Slim Jims to this day. So, it's so funny because, all these decades later, and I'm flipping through a comic book that I was always aware of but never read. So I think that is also the joy of these facsimile reprints, is because not only does it give younger readers a chance to experience it, it gives old readers like myself the chance to redeem themselves for missing it first time around. Loving the texture and the blacks and just like the scratchiness of it is so beautiful. It's very like loose and expressive. Like the it's funny because I do feel like, you know, he would definitely like almost become like a factory version of himself in a lot of ways, like using a lot of zipatone and screens and prints. Like if you know, you know, I can just see it and it's mine. On my mind, I can't see inside Chaykin's mind, even though you sort of can, right? And that's the beauty of art. Like this is a glimpse into someone's mind, how they see it. And I just, once again, I love it. I probably said that 100 times, but I do. I just love it so much. Like it is so beautiful. The use of blacks in the negative space and the way that he does these landscapes and the sand speeder. Oh my gosh, was there a sand speeder in here? I love sand speeders so much. I mean, this, oh my gosh, so cool, right? Like, but that's what I love. And I often talk about like being fans of like, if you're a Superman fan, certain things tip you off. And, you know, every Star Wars fan knows what a sand speeder is supposed to look like. And it is just so cool to see it here, you know. Oh, and what facsimile edition from Marvel would be complete without an old Hostess ad? So much fun. I wonder who drew this one. It's kind of giving me Terry Austin ink vibes. However, I've recently sort of discovered that perhaps Austin was influenced by Ditko, because I finally see a little bit of like Ditko and Austin like sort of synergy. Anyway, this ends first of 6, I hope. They would be stupid not to reprint this because, I mean, obviously, you know, history is so weird. And like I said, this is so important historically and hysterically. You know, Marvel is now owned by Disney. Star Wars is owned by Disney. So the Marvel is doing, you know, the Star Wars books, and it's sort of come full circle, and like, it's kind of weird. Like, it's just a pop culture collision, a moment in time. Why is Darth Vader green on the cover, right? I don't know. Interesting. That, and like the magenta gun. Arguably so it shows off, but I don't know, the green is weird. But it looks great, right? This cover's iconic. I think they said Tom Palmer inked it. So good. Gonna wait for the next issue. I don't know. My friend Jason recently started collecting comics and specifically Star Wars because he loves Star Wars, even though I'm like, I don't want it, but I had to get this one. So make sure you get it, Jason. Definitely. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I will bring you more soon.